Welcome to today's Explainer. If you've ever found yourself scrolling through photos of stunning, wildly patterned houseplants and thought to yourself, yeah, no way, I could never keep that alive. Well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're exploring the ultimate low-drama entry point into the world of variegated houseplants, the Marble Queen Pothos. It's a gorgeous plant that gives you this incredible visual reward, totally skipping the fuss of a high-maintenance collector plant. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll officially meet the Marble Queen. Then we'll cover the survival foundation, followed by routine maintenance. After that, we'll graduate to pruning and propagation, and finally wrap things up with troubleshooting. All right, Section 1, meet the Marble Queen. So this classic heart-shaped vine is famous for its striking cream and white splashes. It acts incredibly easygoing while looking, frankly, highly dressed up. But to really anchor our understanding here, let's compare it to a plant you've probably seen literally everywhere, the golden pothos. Now, while the golden pothos features these yellow and chartreuse streaks and grows super fast, our Marble Queen rocks those elegant cream and white splashes. But here's the catch, and it's an important one. Because those beautiful white patches lack chlorophyll, the Marble Queen grows just a bit slower. The green parts of the leaf are doing all the heavy lifting for photosynthesis. Basically, if pure speed matters to you, pick the golden. But if looks are your priority, the Marble Queen is your winner, for sure. Moving right along to Section 2, the survival foundation, light, water, and soil. The absolute non-negotiable for this plant is bright, indirect light. Ideally, you want it about 2 to 4 feet back from an east or north-facing window. You really want to avoid direct afternoon sun because that will quickly burn those delicate, thin, white patches into crispy brown spots. Not a great look. But if you stick the plant in a spot that's too dark, you'll see this fascinating concept called reverting happen. Because the cream sections of the leaf do not photosynthesize, a starving plant literally panics. It starts pushing out almost completely all green leaves just to compensate and survive. So give it enough light or you're going to lose that stunning marbled look that made you buy it in the first place. Next up in our survival foundation is watering. And the rule here is wonderfully simple. Let the top 1 to 2 inches of soil dry out. Don't guess, don't overthink it, just stick your finger right in the dirt. If it's dry down to your second knuckle, boom, it's time to water. This usually works out to about once a week in the spring and summer, and maybe every 10 to 14 days in the winter. Now, when you do water it, soak it thoroughly until water pours freely out of the drainage holes. But never, ever leave it sitting in a tray of water. I mean, we've all tried to love a plant to death with way too much water, right? But doing that here is just an open invitation to root rot. And what exactly is that water flowing through? The soil, of course. Heavy potting mix straight from the bag holds way too much water and compacts over time. It basically suffocates the roots. Your plant's roots need to breathe. That is exactly why you want a light, well-draining aroid mix. And you can actually make it yourself. It's super easy. Just take 2 parts standard potting mix, add 1 part perlite to create air pockets, and 1 part orchid bark for some nice chunky structure. Oh, and throwing in a handful of horticultural charcoal is a fantastic optional extra to keep things fresh in the pot. Which brings us to Section 3, routine maintenance and feeding. The really great news is the Marble Queen is happy right where you're happy. It thrives in standard household temperatures between 65 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit, and it handles average humidity of 40 to 50% without a single complaint. Now, to get it looking its absolute best, here are your rapid-fire pro care tips. First, rotate the pot a quarter turn every week so it grows evenly toward the light. Second, gently wipe the leaves with a damp, soft cloth periodically, because dust literally blocks light absorption. Third, repot it every 2 years, but only go up just 1 single pot size. And finally, if you want massive, mature leaves, let your Marble Queen climb a moss pole. This grants those climbing roots extra moisture and completely transforms it from a trailing vine into a bushy, super dramatic upright specimen. It's a real game changer. When it comes to feeding, the Marble Queen is a pretty light eater. A balanced liquid fertilizer, something like a 10-10-10, mixed at just half strength, once a month during the spring and summer is plenty. But here is the absolutely crucial point. Stop fertilizing completely in late fall and winter. The plant isn't actively growing then, and feeding it can cause unused fertilizer salts to build up in the soil. That's going to burn the roots and leave you with crispy brown leaf tips. Oh, and a quick aside, always water the plant before you add liquid fertilizer just to prevent shocking those roots. All right, time to level up. Section 4, expert level, pruning and propagation. This is where you learn to actually multiply your plants and control how it looks by trimming back those leggy or reverted vines. But before we reach for the scissors, we need to know exactly where to make our cuts. You are looking for a node. A node is that small little bump on the stem directly opposite a leaf. It is basically the magical spot where new roots and new foliage emerge. When you prune, you want to cut just above a node on the main plant. And if you're aiming for a bushier plant instead of long, stringy vines, simply pinch off the growing tips. That forces the node right below it to push out side branches, which fills the plant out beautifully.
Now let's take those cuttings you just made and multiply your collection. Water propagation is incredibly simple. Just find a healthy vine and cut just below a node, so your cutting has a node right at the bottom. Remove the lowest leaf to fully expose that node. Drop it into a jar of room temperature water, making sure any remaining leaves stay completely dry above the water, and just wait. Roots are going to appear in 2 to 3 weeks. And here's a brilliant little pro tip for you. Cuttings with stronger green tones actually root faster than mostly white cuttings. Why? Because they have way more chlorophyll energy to fuel that root production.
Almost there. Section 5, troubleshooting common problems. Look, even the experts run into issues sometimes. But the difference is, they know how to read the plant and confidently diagnose the problem without panicking. For instance, here's one of the most common beginner questions we get. Why is my beautiful Marble Queen turning solid green? Well, remember that concept of reverting we talked about earlier? That is exactly what's happening. The plant is literally telling you it is starving for light. The quick fix? Move the plant closer to a window and trim back those solid green vines so it redirects its energy back into producing that beautiful, variegated growth.
You can actually reverse engineer your entire care routine based strictly on what the leaves are telling you. Think of it like a puzzle. If you see yellow lower leaves and mushy stems, you're overwatering. Let the soil dry out, and if it's really severe, you might need to trim away black, rotting roots. Now, if you see crispy brown edges, you're either underwatering or the air is way too dry, so give it a thorough soak. And if the vines are looking leggy with huge gaps between tiny leaves, yep, it needs more light. Just by checking these symptoms, you're going to know exactly how to pivot your care strategy. Now, the Marble Queen isn't a massive pest magnet, but you definitely still need to keep your eyes peeled. Mealybugs look like little bits of white, cottony fluff tucked right into the joints. Spider mites leave behind this really fine webbing. Scale looks like tiny brown bumps stuck to the stems. If any of these show up, don't panic. A simple cotton swab dipped in 70% isopropyl alcohol or a weekly spray with some insecticidal soak will clear them right up. There is one totally vital troubleshooting question we absolutely must cover. Is this plant safe for pets? The answer is firmly absolutely no. Like all pothos, the Marble Queen contains calcium oxalate crystals. These are highly toxic and very irritating to cats and dogs if they chew on the leaves. So if you have curious pets running around, this plant has to be displayed way up high in a hanging basket or completely out of their reach. And there you have the whole shebang. You have officially graduated to expert Marble Queen parent. You now know how to provide the perfect light, mix the ideal soil, prevent reverting, and even multiply your plant through propagation. Which really leaves me with one final, very important question for you today. Once you trim those vines and root those incredibly easy cuttings, who is going to get your very first Marble Queen baby? Think about it. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy growing.